All the liveries have finally been revealed. Ferrari unveiled the SF21 yesterday, which means it's time for us to all rank them, from worst to best. My name's Aaron, and it's time for the 5 red lights.
1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's go!
Okay, welcome in everybody, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're ranking the 2021 car liveries, and obviously it's just my opinion, so this is what I think. It's not a reflection on anything else really in the world. It's just what I think, how I feel about them. Obviously you will feel different. There are other opinions out there which you can go and find and see if they match or if they dispute yours. And if you want to leave your opinion in the comments, smash it in there and we can debate which order to put the cars and their liveries in. Also, if you're new around here and you like what you see, perhaps not here but on the rest of the channel, leave a like if you enjoy the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content that you find on the 5 red lights. That's enough waffling. Let's dive on in to the livery ranking. Okay, so let's dive on in with 10th place, and in 10th place I've got Haas. Now, the actual livery itself is alright, you know, the white with the red and the blue, but I'm putting it in 10th place because of what it stands for, in my opinion. It stands for everything that's wrong with a lot of things in the world, you know, how much influence money has and how people can use that for power and to dominate proceedings in certain areas. Obviously in business that's useful, but I think in a sporting context it's probably a little bit too far past the mark. So for me, having the Russian flag, it represents the Mazepin family kind of just being so blatant with their undermining of the WADA ruling on the Russian flag, and it's been noted, so they're going to be taking a look into it. Whether it gets overturned, I'm not sure, but you know, if Haas find themselves having to change the livery, then you know they've really got themselves to blame for allowing this to happen. It's so blatant. There's so many obvious Russian flags on the car. So for me, it's just distasteful. It's not cool. It's not cool what they're doing, which is a shame for Haas because I'm sure they're a great company. So 10th place for the Haas livery. In 9th place, I've got the Williams. Now initially I really liked the Williams, but actually at further inspection it's kind of doused the flames that were going on over here. It's a little bit too clumsy with the arrangement, and it's a bit messy with the Williams W on the top of the engine cover by the airbox being covered up. Yeah, it could have been done a little bit more elegantly for sure, and it's a shame because I can see what they're trying to do, but it's not quite worked. So 9th place for the Williams livery. In 8th place I have the Alfa Romeo livery of the C41. Now I might be in the minority not really enjoying this livery because I think there's nothing new. It's red, it's mostly white. I'd have preferred more of the deep blood red on that car. Perhaps it would be too Ferrari-like, but you know, if you've got enough white on there, you can tell it apart. And bear in mind, McLaren were red and white in the 80s and 90s, while Ferrari were red. So, you know, it's much of a muchness really. I'd have preferred a bit more red. That's just me. I think just having a white car is possibly too easy. Have a bit of colour in there. You know, we don't want everything to be white or black. We want lots of colours. We want lots and lots of colours. So 8th place for the Alfa Romeo livery because I think it's just a bit simple really. 7th place. Now again, this might be further down the pecking order than many people might expect, but I've gone for the Red Bull livery. The Red Bull sort of branding and the colour scheme has been in Formula 1 for many years. Even before they had their own team, they sponsored the Sauber team in the late 90s, so it's been around a while, and it's generally looked pretty much the same. You know, the Red Bull logo's been on the side, and the yellow nose, and the dark blue. Obviously, they went for the matte finish in 2016, and that was a good change. But we've seen what they can do with those testing liveries, so I'd just like them to change it up and do something a little bit more jazzy with it. It's a nice colour scheme. It's well detailed. It's nicely arranged, but we've just seen it before. Just whacked my microphone. Whoops. Yeah, we've seen it before, and you know, I'd just keep things slightly different. A few subtle changes or one major change, just to differentiate from year to year. Especially given that the car, in terms of its construction, looks really similar to the 2020 car. How on earth do you tell them apart? Come on. So 7th place for Red Bull. Just my opinion. Don't get mad, don't get triggered. My opinion. And in 6th place, I've got AlphaTauri. So the Red Bull pairs are kind of together. The AlphaTauri of last year was quite nice, quite neat and tidy, and this year they've flipped the colour scheme the other way, so more navy blue than white. I think it works really well. I was a little bit unsure about it overall when I first saw it, but you know, the blue is slightly more blue than there is white, so it's got a sort of defined colour rather than just plain white. And it's neatly arranged. There's nothing too leery about it. There's nothing too complicated with it. It follows the nose, and it has the swoop to incorporate the AlphaTauri logo, which kind of pushes the Honda writing down a little bit, but it's kind of, you know, that was always going to happen. If they needed to follow that logo, then the Honda sticker was going to get pushed down slightly further on the side pod. But overall, you know, neat and tidy livery. Nothing spectacular, but neat and tidy, which is good. 5th place, I have got McLaren, the Papaya Power car. Obviously, they own that colour. They are absolutely owning it, and it stands out, which is brilliant. It's very different from anything else on the grid, which I love. And it's got the blue on it, which is, you wouldn't naturally put like a bright orange and blue together, but it works really nicely, I think. It's quite noticeable on track. You know, if you're lucky enough to be at one of the races and you see it whiz by in a blur, you know what it's going to be. It's not, oh, that was a white car or that was a blue car. What one was that? Which one was that? You have to try and remember which one looks like what. If it's orange, you know it's going to be a McLaren. So smart thinking there from McLaren. Go for a nice bright colour, very distinctive, easily noticeable. Obviously, if a car has an accident and you can see that it's orange, you know it's one of your cars, which is, I guess, good, because then you know that you've got some work, the team will have some work to do, and then it eliminates, it could be 4 or 5 drivers. It's just one of 2 drivers who's had the accident. But obviously we don't want anyone to have accidents, because that's bad. But 5th place for McLaren, a neat and tidy livery, very similar to last year, just carried over the concept, and it's very straightforward, but it's very eye-catching, and I like it. And moving into the top 4 then, we've got Ferrari. Now, would a Ferrari be anything other than red? In my head, I was kind of hoping, you know, there might be some other colour on there somewhere, and they put the green on there with the Mission Win Now, but I don't think we'll see that, because Shell Motorsport actually leaked a picture of the car without the green stripes on it, and I don't think we'll see the Mission Win Now logo very often because of the stringency with the cigarette advertising in certain countries. So I mean, it could just be for branding, for show, and you know that's how they're getting around it with that part of the sponsorship deal, and then we won't really see it very much on track. But overall, I think it's a really nice car with the red, obviously the very standard iconic red of Ferrari, but I really enjoyed their Tuscan burgundy, the deeper red last year, which was really nice, and I feel like they could have gone further with that, and they have. At the back end of the car is that deeper red, not quite burgundy, but still a much deeper red than Ferraris normally are, the sort of scarlet colours. But it's well incorporated, it fades in nicely. Some people have likened it to bruising, but bruising doesn't quite look like that. So overall, a neat and tidy livery. The sponsors, Ferrari are never going to fail to attract sponsors, so it looks good for me. 4th place for the Ferrari livery. 3rd place, it's the world champions Mercedes. This one ranks again similar to the Haas livery because of what it represents. So in my opinion, I think having social equality is supremely important, and educating people on that is of paramount importance. We're all learning about it, and for a sport that we all love to watch and a driver that we all look up to be championing that is massive. So for Mercedes to have retained the black livery, I think is a really good step. They've incorporated the silver on the end of the tail cover, the tail engine cover, and I think that looks alright, but then when you bombard it with AMG stickers, it's slightly overkill. And if you look back to the 2019 car, the W10, it's kind of the reverse of that. They had the silver with the 3-pointed stars on the engine cover, and then there was a little bit of a black finish just before the rear wing. So it's kind of the reverse of that, but obviously it's not as shiny because of the finish, and the silver kind of glinted a bit more. But overall, I think it's a neat and tidy livery. It's good. It represents something bigger than the sport itself, which for me is really important. And if we're going to be using these cars as almost rolling billboards for cigarette brands in the 90s, then nowadays when we can't use those sort of things for sponsorship and advertising as frequently, let's use them to purvey messages of hope and good causes and things that need to change, and just use them cleverly, which I think Mercedes have done. They did something great last season, and they're continuing it this season. So well done to the Mercedes team, and they get 3rd place on my livery list, which leaves us with the top 2. And in 2nd place is Aston Martin. Now I would have actually put the Aston Martin first if they'd had a darker green and the more fluorescent light green, but we've got a rolling watermelon, so they only rank 2nd. It's a neat and tidy livery. There's nothing too spectacular about it, but obviously having green back on the Formula 1 grid is great. We love green cars in Formula 1. Lotus, Van Wall, not so much the Jaguar, they didn't do so well. Less memorably the Caterham, with the funny nose, but green on the Formula 1 grid is great. So seeing that back is just a win for everybody. Really nicely done. Shame about the pink, but when BWT are paying so much money and they had the car completely pink last year, which probably was better than the actual just line for me, but I suppose they're paying for it. And it also does look very similar to the Mercedes livery, which may or may not help the memes, but that's what we're here for. So 2nd place for Aston Martin, which leaves just one team left, and it's Alpine. Perhaps this is the only thing they're going to win this season, because, well, the car wasn't quite there last year in terms of raw pace, but they did pick up a couple of podiums with Daniel Ricciardo. They got Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon in the team, and the car looks magnificent. Obviously we thought it was a sort of a more glossy blue finish. Turns out it's satin, which is just spectacular. It absolutely rocks when it looks when it's out on track. It looks better than their program for the car launch, which I suppose is a really good thing. So well done to Alpine for that. Well done to Sean Bull for creating such an excellent design. There's enough blue on there for you to recognise what it is, but there's enough red and white for you to remember that they're French without them hitting you over the head with it and giving you a headache about them being French. But yeah, that was a stunning livery. Really, really nicely done. Neat and tidy. Angles are good on with the red stripe going along with the slanting of the A on the engine cover. It's overall a fantastic livery and well deserving of the #1 spot. So there you go. That's my opinion on the liveries for 2021. My top 10: Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Aston Martin, and in first place is Alpine. Now obviously this is my opinion, as I said before, other opinions are available. Go and check them out wherever you can find them, and obviously don't crucify me for having my own opinion. If you want to put your opinion in the comments, do so, because I would love to hear it, and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. So we've got testing this weekend, so we're going to be looking at the cars on track. We'll see whose livery looks the best on the track rather than just on a computer screen. Check out my predictions video. I'll leave a link to it in the eye above. You can check that out. That's all for today though. My name's Aaron. This has been the 5 Red Lights, and we have reached the checkered flag on another episode. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.